Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, whatever you want to call me, and I am back. This is part 2 of 2 of What If Deku had a poison quirk. Make sure to show some love to the video. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. As always, though, check the links in the description for the Discord, the Spotify, and or the membership as well, if you guys want to check those things out. As always, I'm going to bring this up quickly. If you watch this on Spotify or listen to this on Spotify, it's for the most part, we're all caught up. So it will come out on YouTube first, and then on Spotify, it will come out probably an hour, maybe 2 hours later than it comes out on YouTube. But still, hope you guys enjoy. I don't want to waste much more of your time, and I want to get right into it. So let's get it. Izuku Midoriya goes off basically into the shadows, and the reason why he does this is he's looking for a moment, a chance, and an opportunity to actually bring the fight to All Might, because right off the rip he's watching Bakugo go head to head with All Might, but it's not head to head in the way of like, oh, he's actually, you know, he actually has a chance, he can actually do this. Yeah, no, and not even close. It's pretty obvious that All Might outclasses and is going to outdo Bakugo 10 times out of 10. And it's very, very easy for him to do so. But Izuku is making sure that he keeps a close eye on everything that's going on, because on the off chance that he gets an opening is when he wants to really put himself in a proper position. And that's exactly what's going to happen. An opening where, you know, Bakugo's on the ground, basically defeated, and Izuku comes out of nowhere, utilizing something that he's been working with, and that is his poison mist. A mist of poison would be created, but it would be him. It would be like the sludge villain all over again, but, you know, not a big sludge pile, but he would legitimately be poison. Like, he'd be a mist of poison breathing through the air, and as it goes toward All Might, he would hover around All Might and immediately infect him with that poison, and it will begin to slow him down. Izuku immediately tells All Might that he should stop the fight right now and give up, because soon the poison will creep into his blood, and soon it will make him feel sicker than he's ever felt before, and he's not going to have enough time to really do anything if he decides basically to fight his way out of this. And he also tells All Might that he really only has about 45 seconds to make his choice. Bakugo tries to fight All Might more, and then Izuku tells All Might the more he fights, the quicker the poison will take its effect, in which this would shock him, thinking this is crazy. Like, are you serious? And he begins coughing. And of course, this would lead to an All Might surrender, and All Might says, okay, I surrender, I give up. Izuku would immediately get the poison out of All Might, and then reveal that he was kind of lying. The poison that he used, yes, would affect him, yes, would slowly kind of deteriorate and make him more tired, make him more sick, and all of these things, but he definitely had a lot more time than Izuku was giving off, because he was never going to be able to lay a hand on All Might and really do things the way he believed he could have if he really got a hold of All Might. But of course, he had to bluff him just a little bit, and it led to, obviously, their victory. And Aizawa watching this, he's thinking, yeah, I mean, this kid, he's a smart one, right? He's really dedicated to figuring things out. And on top of that, the fact is, he has a lot more fighting experience now because he trained with Aizawa, and even has experience with the scarf that he doesn't really use that often. It's more of a Shinso thing, so he kind of stays away from it. But overall, he has a lot of experience now, and that experience is just showing even against the greatest hero alive, All Might. Now, Bakugo's pretty pissed. I mean, Bakugo's thinking he wanted to win on his own. He wanted to do this. He wanted to do that. And Izuku tells him, like, you weren't going to win. Like, you weren't going to beat him on your own. It just doesn't make sense. It wasn't going to happen. And the reality is, they needed each other. Izuku needed Bakugo, and Bakugo needed Izuku, because Izuku needed the opening. He needed the opportunity. He needed the chance to jump in there and change the feat of the battlefield, and that's exactly what they did. So he tells Bakugo, calm down, take a breath, don't worry about all this other excess nonsense, and just focus on this. This is what they were able to do, and let's continue to, do exactly that. In which, of course, Bakugo's pissed, but at the same time has a little bit of respect for it, thinking, you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right? Maybe you're correct in the idea that we both needed each other's help, and Bakugo gets a little bit more respect for Izuku here, but doesn't show much of it. As this would be over and done with, basically, it would head them now to the forest training camp. Now, the forest training camp is perfect for this scenario for Izuku, because Izuku is just as much training as he needs, as much training as possible. He wants to push his limits, push himself, and get better, and better. And he just wants to learn more about his poison-like abilities, his ability to really utilize anything involving poison, even changing this entire kind of place, this entire forest, into a kind of acidic / poison wasteland. And it would be basically unable to even see it, but Izuku messes with it, just a small portion of it as they go, and it would be perfect that he's messing with it, because before you know it, villains would show up and villains would need to be taken down, because at the end of the day, they believe this is an opportunity to get a leg up, but what they don't know is that they're walking straight into basically a trap. And Izuku tells everybody when all this is occurring, as many people as possible, that they need to get out of harm's way ASAP, get to a proper location, and stay away from a part of the forest, right? And Izuku does this, and in doing so, he makes it so parts of the forest, if they even go near it, the poison will knock them out cold on their butt, and it will be done and dusted. So half the villains would get knocked out and at least stopped, at least for the moment. And Izuku would head up to actually see a little kid by the name of Koda that he met not too long ago. And in doing so, he meets up with a giant monstrous person by the name of Muscular. And Muscular goes straight for him, but he just disappears into mist as he begins to kind of send this mist, poison mist, within the lungs of Muscular. And he would tell Muscular that all those muscles, truly, it's a curse. He needs so much oxygen for those muscles. He needs so much air to breathe. But the more he whiffs, the more he breathes in, and the more he tries to get that sweet oxygen into his body, the more that poison seeps through his body, and the more that the poison begins to seep through him and slow him down. And Muscular, he tries to throw punch after punch after punch, but soon he would realize that he's out of gas, that he has nothing left, and all he can see is Izuku pick up Koda and tell him that everything's going to be fine, and that the big guy is going to fall on his face. Izuku would then put out his hand and immediately kind of force the poison to even move quicker, and as he does this, Muscular would pass out on the ground completely out cold, and then Izuku would get rid of the poison so that he doesn't, kill him. He would leave and head off to a different part of the forest as he clears his way through, and basically has it so they can run through even the poisonous areas of the forest, and they get to a safe spot. And Izuku kind of helps out where he can with a lot of the other classmates that need help and blah blah blah. And it seems like this little raid that the League of Villains decided to put their hat in on actually fails tremendously. All these villains that showed up are put behind bars, and some of them, well, they're not technically there, so they're able to leave because of twice, but a lot of these villains that were there, at least for the moment, get put behind bars and absolutely just put in a horrible spot because of how prepared this group of students really was. And before you know it, they're heading back, and just a day later, there's another attack on a city, and All Might is there facing off with All for One. And of course, Izuku and many others, they're not a part of this fight, and they're not there to try to save one of their classmates. So they truly just watch as All Might takes on All for One by himself, and they really kind of focus in on the idea that All Might, he really is the greatest hero alive. He can really handle himself, and he really is just the peak of what a superhero is, and he would defeat All for One with the United States of Smash, and Izuku and many others would watch closely and be excited to see that All Might, I mean, he passes on the torch to the future generation of all the heroes that are alive. And Izuku, all he can think about is that he wants to bring a different name, a different kind of name to what his quirk is, a different name and a different really want and desire, because everyone is going to look at his quirk and think, oh, he's a villain, he's this, he's that. But Izuku, no, he's not going to. He's going to make sure that everybody knows, everybody believes, everybody understands that he is not only a hero, but even people with quirks like his own can still become heroes. And this would then obviously lead them to some training on their super moves and stuff like that. But the main thing that they would really kind of head into would be the Provisional Hero License exam. And this exam right here, I mean, it is perfect for Izuku, because Izuku may not be, in terms of like, you know, regular strength, might not be the best or the most insane, and he might not be able to throw the ball and, you know, eliminate people so easily, but he can slow the whole battlefield down, and he could really take over the entire battlefield. And he would get, with the help of other students, he would get his tags, he would get his kind of eliminations. And of course, this would lead him to that very next thing, being that of the rescue portion of the training. And Izuku, I mean, he has a pretty good time of doing this. I mean, he literally has something is like a neurotoxin, so he can get rid of poison if people are sick or something like that. So that's helpful in a rescue scenario. But where he really thrives is when Gang Orca and all those other fake villains show up, and he disappears into mist, and he begins to overwhelm them. I mean, he absolutely overwhelms them with poison and these like toxins and everything he could possibly do. He even teams up with Mina to really make kind of like this insane toxin that would spread throughout the entirety of the area. And everybody would be like, this is insane. Like, how were they able to do this in such like a quick succession, or how is he able to do this in such a quick succession? And at the end of the day, Izuku is one of the best support heroes here because of the poison that he exudes, or that he gives off. And as he's doing this, everybody's watching, and Todoroki and Inasa decide to team up. And this team up's even better this time around, because the poison that is being kind of lit ablaze, or this poison that is being laid out, can be lit ablaze and be stoked with the wind. And out of nowhere, you get this huge blaze of glory that knocks out and defeats even Gang Orca, but obviously knocks out all these excess fake villains as well. And with a big combo move between the three of them, one foul swoop is all it takes for the defeat and the stopping of all of these villains, or these fake villains. But they're able to take down this entire kind of place, and take down every single person that is here. And just like that, Izuku and many others prove that they're of that level, and prove that they are really that good. Because there it is, Izuku Midoriya and all these other people, everyone else is at that level, at that stake. And it seems as if he's now able to become a provisional hero, and now gets the chance to go out and train and prepare with a fellow agency, or a different agency in general. Now that agency, I mean, he doesn't really have a ton of choices, but he would eventually get a choice that would be just undeniable when he faces off with Mirio. And that's when he really is able to show what he can do, because he faces off with Mirio, and his entire class faces off with Mirio. But Izuku, I mean, he really gives him a run for his money. The special way that Izuku uses his quirk, and the different various versions he can use with the poison and various other things as well, he really changes a battlefield. It really changes so much, and Mirio really can't keep up. Mirio can't keep up, not to the point of where he's not really good, like he's not capable, but he can't keep up in a way of he just isn't able to get his attacks off, and it ends up becoming a bit of a stalemate that Aizawa says that they're done. Like, we're not pushing this any further. No one needs to get hurt. So we're done for now. And he tells them, like, you guys can fight on your own time, but that's good enough. In which Mirio would basically get this word back to Sir Nighteye, and Sir Nighteye would think, you know what? I mean, this kid, he's pretty good. I mean, he seems pretty good, and he has some good records with various teachers and various faculty and other heroes believing that he's of a high caliber. So why not? Let's give him a shot, right? Let's give him a chance. And well, Sir Nighteye gives him that opportunity with a 1 versus 1, something pretty basic. But quickly, like in the first couple seconds, he realizes that the kid's quirk is something he cannot foresee, something he can't really look forward and prepare for the way he would need to actually defeat him. So he stops it and says that does he know that that quirk would predominantly be looked at as a villain's quirk, that you would be looked at as if you are a villain, in which Izuku nods his head and says that he has been looked at like that for a very long time. And he understands it. When he puts on this mask, the mask that filters out anything and everything that he needs, and it allows him to truly breathe the poison a little bit better, because he is immune to it, but it doesn't mean that he's able to breathe it so easily, because it's, you know, poison and not oxygen and air and stuff like that. When he puts on this mask, though, he knows what people are going to look at him as. He knows what it looks like when the poison is coming off his body, and he knows what it looks like when he disappears into a green mist, and everybody is thinking, wow, that kid, that guy, he's terrifying. And he knows what it seems like. He knows what it feels like when he can create an entire ecosystem of these poisonous, venomous kind of plants and animals. He knows when he does this that it's terrifying. He knows. But it doesn't matter to him. All that matters is that he gets the job done. All that matters is that he protects everyone he possibly can. And Sir Nighteye stops him and says, good. Because you may not be the most popular. You may not end up being the most famous. You may not make the most money. But you can make the most difference. And that, as a hero, is what matters. And he tells the kid, he stamps his paper and tells him, welcome to the agency. Because you should and can be here for a very long time if everything that was said about you is 100% the truth. In which Izuku says, yes, it is. And he's going to make sure that everybody understands. And Izuku kind of starts working with them over the next couple of days and goes on his first patrol with Mirio, leading to him, Mirio coming across the one and only Overhaul. But the interesting thing is, a little girl by the name of Eri comes running out and immediately jumps toward Izuku, and Izuku grabs onto her and thinks she's in trouble. What's going on? And Mirio's nudging him in a way of allowing her to leave, and Izuku thinks this might be a time to do something that he's been trying to do and preparing to do for a while. He touches the shoulder of Eri and tells her that everything's gonna be all right. You know, some people get bumps and bruises, and some people fall, and, you know, stuff like that. Everything's gonna be fine. In which Mirio looks at him like in a weird way, in which he wasn't thinking Izuku would react like this, but Izuku would just let Eri go back, and he would tell Eri, "It's all right. Like it's your dad. You know, you're blah blah blah. Like, you know, everything's fine." And he tells Overhaul, like, he gets it. You know, kids are hard to work with sometimes. And Eri runs back toward Overhaul and kind of grabs onto him, and Izuku's telling him like, oh no, like, there's no worries. And they talk for a little bit, and he's thinking that all he needs Eri to do is touch him on the skin, in which he would then tell Overhaul that, oh, if you don't mind, like, what do you have in mind here? Like, well, why exactly is your daughter doing this, blah blah blah. And he kind of extends the conversation to where he gets upset, in which this is when Eri watches him take the glove off near her, like kneel down taking the glove off, and Eri would touch him on the wrist. And as this happens, Overhaul decides to put the glove right back on and says, oh, okay, well, we have to be going now. And that one mistake would be one that he will never forget, because they start walking together, and Eri holds on to the pant leg of Overhaul, but Overhaul would then feel dizzy, drowsy, and then out of nowhere, he would collapse face first on the ground, and Izuku would tell Eri to get over toward Mirio, and he would tell Mirio to go get help. Go get the police, go get everything ASAP. And that's exactly what happens. And it seems like Overhaul was tricked into something that he had no idea would happen. And of course, Izuku makes sure that Eri's not injured by any singular, poison or anything like that, giving her like a immunity to poison, at least for that moment. And they capture up Overhaul, put him in Quirk canceling cuffs, and bring him to a hospital. But even Izuku says that once he kind of gets rid of that poison from his body, that everything is going to be fine for him. But yeah, bring him to a hospital, stuff like that. He gets rid of the poison, and then they head off to a hospital. But this makes a lot better situation for them, because once they get information on where the Shihazakai base is, they already have their leader Overhaul here. And when they begin to invade the entirety of the place, it seems as if the whole Shihazakai base and the whole gang crumbles quicker than you could imagine. And it seems like the villains all alike are going to do this as well, because the entirety of the place would be covered in poison because of Izuku, and everybody would slowly but surely be whittled out, be tossed out, and be captured just like that. And before you know it, Izuku's already back with the agency, working with them more, but also training with Class 1A. But this would lead them into a Class 1A versus Class 1B type of fight. And of course, he would get his training in and his preparations in. And in all honesty, this version of Izuku, I mean, he's going to handle his business pretty well against a group of heroes that he faces off with. The main person that is going to be an issue, or main two people, would be Shinso, who knows his quirk somewhat well. But on top of that, Monoma, who wants to try to steal the quirk of Izuku. But even doing so, it's not going to help him necessarily. Not having control over a quirk like that will backfire even against your own team. And that's exactly what it does. Backfiring against his own team, and Izuku's control over it just overwhelms all of them. And with a team of Izuku, Mineta, Mina, and also Ochako, they're able to handle their business and handle everything and get the win for Class 1A. And of course, this would lead on to so much more for Izuku Midoriya, continuously working with Sir Nightaye's agency, given the fact that Sir Nighteye is still around and not, kicking the bucket. And of course, this would also lead him to even more opportunities in the near future. But of course, they do have to deal with one last thing, and that is a absolute police or a prison type of riot that leads to Gigantomachia and many other villains trying to basically siege into the prison and get Overhaul, get Shigaraki, get All For One, so many other people out of prison to create chaos to get the main League of Villains back on the streets. But with the help of Class 1A, with the help of so many others, this little siege, this chance at a revival of the League of Villains would be halted by Izuku, Class 1A, and so many other heroes, especially when Izuku, with Midnight, is able to, for the most part, poison, in a way, Gigantomachia, slowing him down to the point where he gets knocked out cold, and Midnight doesn't even have to sacrifice herself for the greater good and for that moment, and they're able to shut down completely what's going on and shut down everything involving that entire kind of raid. But as this comes to an end, as the raid would be settled, and as Izuku would continue through his first year leading into his second, Izuku Midoriya would continue training, sharpening his skills, and preparing himself for so much more, because he truly believes that just because he has a quirk that looks very similar to a villain's doesn't mean he can't truly be one of the greatest heroes alive. And many other people, they look at things this way as well now, seeing Izuku Midoriya climb the ranks, gain access to being a part of the Big Three during his third year, and then eventually becoming a somewhat known hero is something that he continues to do to climb the ranks. Just because he's scary, just because his quirk seems villainous, doesn't mean he can't be one of the best heroes around. And he stands right next to Mirio, maybe not in rank, but he stands right next to Mirio in terms of capability and how good of a hero he truly is. Izuku may be rated like 35th in the entirety of Japan, at least for a very long time as a hero, but it doesn't mean that he's not more than capable of keeping so many people, citizens alike, safe from villain attack after villain attack after villain attack. But with that said, that is the end of this story. The story of what if Deku had a poison quirk. And if you guys enjoyed, show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, and leave a comment down below. All that good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day.